All right, let's talk about the world of digital assets. You hear these two words thrown around all the time: coins and tokens. People use them interchangeably, and honestly, it gets confusing. But what if I told you they're not the same thing at all? Not even close. One is basically digital money, but the other, well, the other is a whole different beast. Let's break it all down.
So that's the big question, right? What is the real difference? I mean, on the surface, they're both digital things you can own. But the secret, the thing that really separates them, is how they're built and what they're actually for. Getting this one distinction is pretty much the key to understanding this entire space.
So yeah, let's do exactly that. We're going to break it down, starting with the very foundation of it all.
First up, the coin. And I want you to think of this as the bedrock, It's the native currency of its own unique digital economy.
And this right here, this is the absolute key you need to remember. A coin is native to its own blockchain. It's not just a thing that lives on the network, it's the network's actual money. Bitcoin is the currency of the Bitcoin blockchain. Ether is the currency of the Ethereum blockchain. It's the fuel that makes that specific network run. So what's the easiest way to wrap your head around this? Just think of coins as digital cash. Simple as that. You can use them to buy stuff, send them to a friend, or maybe just hold on to them as a store of value, kind of like a digital version of gold.
And I'm sure you've heard of the big players here, right? You've got Bitcoin, which was literally created to be a new form of money. Then there's Ether, the coin for the Ethereum network. It also works as money, but it has a second job. It powers all these things called smart contracts, which are basically just apps that run on the blockchain. And of course, you've got others, like Litecoin, which was designed to be like a faster, nimbler version of Bitcoin. But the main thing is, each one is the boss on its own blockchain.
Okay, so if coins are the foundation, the bedrock, then what the heck are tokens? Well, this is where things get really, really interesting. Tokens are all the incredible things that get built on top of that foundation.
And this is the fundamental difference, the big aha moment. A token doesn't have its own blockchain. No, it's designed to piggyback on an existing one, like Ethereum. And this is actually brilliant because it means developers don't have to go and build a whole new digital economy from scratch. They can just use the rails that are already there to create something totally new.
So if a coin is our digital cash, what's a token? Well, the best analogy I've found is to think of them as like digital tickets, or maybe passes or keys. They're not trying to be money for the whole network. They're designed to give you access to something specific inside an application.
And wow, the variety here is just incredible. You have utility tokens, which might be your special pass to use a feature in an app. You have security tokens, which could actually represent a real-world share in a company. And then, of course, you have NFTs, non-fungible tokens. These are basically unique, one-of-a-kind digital tickets that prove you own a specific digital item, like a piece of art or a collectible.
All right, we've looked at them individually. Now for the main event. Let's put them side by side in a showdown to make these differences absolutely crystal clear. Okay, this table really nails it. Let's walk through it. Take a look at the purpose. Coins are all about being digital money. Tokens, they're about representing something else. Value, access, you name it. Now look at function. Use coins for payments or investing. Use tokens to get into services, vote on a project's future, or earn rewards. And here's the kicker, the biggest difference at the bottom. Coins have their own native blockchain. Tokens are built on top of someone else's. If you remember just one thing from this whole explainer, remember that.
Okay, that's the theory. I get it. But why does this actually matter to you in the real world? Let's get practical for a second.
So let's take a coin. The classic use case, buying coffee with Bitcoin. You use the native coin, Bitcoin, on its native blockchain to pay for something. It's a clean, simple financial transaction. It's digital cash in action. Okay, now let's flip it. A token use case is totally different. Instead of buying something, you might use what's called a governance token to cast a vote on a new idea for an app you use. See? You're not spending it like money, you're using it to participate. It's a completely different function.
And that right there is why this stuff actually matters. It's not just trivia. Knowing the difference helps you understand what you're actually getting into. Are you investing in the core money of a new digital economy, or are you buying a ticket that lets you do something in a specific app? Answering that one question will help you invest smarter, avoid scams, and just generally navigate this new world with a lot more confidence.
Now, of course, we can't have this conversation without talking about the risks and, what's on the horizon, because it's not all sunshine and roses.
And look, whether we're talking about a coin or a token, the big risks are pretty much the same across the board. First, volatility. Prices can go up and down like a roller coaster. Second, scams and fraud are out there, which means doing your own research isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable. Third, security. You have to protect your digital wallet's private keys. Think of these as the one and only password to your money. If you lose them, your assets are just gone. And finally, regulation. The rules for all of this are still being written, so things can change fast.
So, let's wrap this all up. Coins are the money native to their very own blockchain. Tokens are the tickets built on top of an existing blockchain. Coins are mainly for payments, tokens are for doing stuff, utility, access, you name it. And while all this innovation is incredibly exciting, it's so important to remember that both carry real risks. The mantra here is super simple. Be curious, but always, always be cautious.
So there you have it. Those are the fundamental building blocks of this entire new digital world. You've got the foundational coins, and you have the infinite world of tokens being built right on top of them. And that really just leaves us with the most exciting question of all, doesn't it? Now that we have these tools, what's going to be built next?